Hi, everybody. It's Rikki Heller here from rikkiheller.com. And today I'm here to talk to you about something that I think affects everybody. I mean, if you live in the 21st century, you have stress, right? So I want to try to keep just a short video today to talk about the three major things that I do, really sort of quick and dirty things that I do to deal with stress, because I know if you're anything like me, you've got stress on a daily basis. Like I said, if you live in the 21st century, you got stress, and it can be a really unhealthy way to live. So just really sort of quickly, a little bit of background. So basically, what happens with stress is you end up having a surge of two particular hormones in the body. One is cortisol and one is adrenaline. So cortisol you've probably heard of, and what happens with cortisol, it suppresses the immune system. So of course, you're going to be more susceptible to illness if you're under stress because of that suppression. But also, cortisol is the cause of what we call belly fat. So, and I've been finding as I've gotten older, I mean, this happens in menopause as well, but so you combine those two things, and it seems like no matter how well you eat, no matter how much you exercise, you're getting this roll of belly fat. And it doesn't have to be just women. So, you know, I think about my husband, who I call the HH, human honey. He's really slim, but he's just started to develop this little roundness around the middle, which concerns me because that's where, your fat also stores toxins in the body. So you're stressed out, you're getting that belly fat, that's a sign. And I mean, why he would have any stress living with me, I have no idea. But anyway, so we're both stressed out, right? So anybody who has a job, has a family, lives in 2015. So that the first thing that's going to happen is the cortisol. But the second thing is the surge of adrenaline, which is what is often referred to as the fight or flight hormone. And so adrenaline puts a stress on the cardiovascular system. So if you put all those things together, especially if it's over a long term, you're stressing out your immune system, you're stressing out your cardiovascular system, you're hanging on to toxins. Stress is really not a good thing. So anything that we can do to alleviate it or to diminish it is probably going to be a good thing. And if you're anything like me, you probably find you don't have a lot of time in the day, which is part of the reason you're stressed. So what are some really quick things that we can do to calm the body down and make ourselves a little less stressed? And obviously, you're going to want to look at longer term approaches as well. And those are things that you can look at ongoing. But this is just sort of for at that moment when you're feeling the overwhelm and you're feeling the stress and want to do something. So my favorite technique is, it just takes literally 3 seconds, is the 3 deep breaths. And I also try to do this before I eat, because what happens when you take 3 deep belly breaths, like into your belly, is your body switches from the sympathetic nervous system to the parasympathetic. And what that means is the sympathetic nervous system is the one that's activated when you're stressed, which gives you energy to go fight that lion, that fight or flight. Whereas the parasympathetic is the one that's activated when you calm down, when the threat is gone. And you can, both of these are considered involuntary, but when you take those 3 deep breaths, what you're doing is actually flicking that switch and switching to the parasympathetic, or the one that's calmer. So you can do it. I do in through the nose, out through the mouth. So just like this. All the way. You let all the air out, and you can feel your shoulders deflating a little. You can just feel everything calming down. And if you do that 3 times, you're going to be pretty zen by the 3rd time. So as I said, I do this before I eat as well, or I try to every time I remember, because that's going to put your body in a better position for digesting well, because you'll be calmer and the digestive juices will be flowing more effectively. But you can even do this, when you're stopped at a red light in traffic. You can do it when you're on the phone with, I don't know, your 94-year-old father and you're getting frustrated. You can do it when you're having a debate with, I don't know, your older sister. All these hypothetical situations where you're stressed out, and you just want to calm down. So that's my number one, and that works really quickly. Taking that concept and sort of extending it, and you probably already know this one, but one of the best approaches to stress is meditation. So if you can meditate on a regular basis, even a total of 3 hours of meditation, and I don't mean in one sitting, I mean once you get to accumulate 3 hours of meditation, you're going to see measurable effects on the cardiovascular system and on your ability to stay calm in situations. And I tell this story all the time. The year that I was in nutrition school, so I was not working that year at a job. I was just studying holistic nutrition at the Canadian School of Natural Nutrition. And it was a day program. So we were on campus, I think it was like 3 days a week. And I was determined to meditate that year. So every morning before I went to school, I would sit downstairs in a comfy chair and I would meditate for 45 minutes. I worked my way up to 45 minutes. And by the end of that year, I mean, I'm a pretty high stress person. Like I'm pretty, you know, we call our dog Chaser skittish, and I kind of identify with that. Like little things will set me off. However, at the end of that year, I was pretty laid back. There was not much that bothered me that year. And I will never forget sitting in traffic at rush hour and some guy cut me off, and I realized that this had happened a couple of times, different people. And it suddenly struck me, hey, I am not internally cursing those people. I am just sitting here and I'm pretty calm. And it just did not affect me the same way. And so that's what happens over the long term with meditation. There's a measurable effect on lowering blood pressure. You sleep better. Your thoughts are clearer. A sort of bonus effect of long-term meditation is you have stronger willpower, believe it or not. And that's the work of Kelly McGonigal, where I learned about that. Kelly McGonigal, PhD, who wrote a book called The Willpower Instinct. So it's a really great tool if you can do it. Now, the one thing about meditation that I hear people say all the time is, well, I can't concentrate, my mind wanders. But that's actually the whole point, is that we learn to focus over time. So it's not a matter of concentrating immediately. It's a matter of building up that concentration where your mind no longer wanders. And the beauty of meditation, literally, you can do it for 3 minutes at a time. So again, that's something I love to do. I even do my sort of relaxation meditation as I'm falling asleep at night in bed and my thoughts are racing. Instead of letting them race, I will focus on my breath and I will focus on meditating. And you can find all kinds of fabulous meditation programs or instructional videos online. So I would just look up meditation and see what you find there. So meditation, definitely my number 2. And something that's very similar is a visualization, or what they call guided visualization. So I kind of put those in the same category. And that's where you have almost like a dreamscape in your mind of maybe lying on the beach and listening to the water and the seagulls overhead. Just you imagine a very calm scene. And again, that's the kind of thing that you can do in a minute in the car. You can do it while you're waiting in the line for groceries. So visualization is another way to calm the body down, and your physical body is going to follow whatever visualization you've got going on in your mind. Okay, so those are the 2. And then I have another, actually, I'm going to give you more than 3 today. So another one is one of my favorites, and I've just discovered this recently. It's called Ho'oponopono. I believe that's how you say it. It's a Hawaiian forgiveness mantra. And for some reason, this is also slightly meditative. So the idea is you simply repeat 4 statements while you're thinking about the person or the event or the action that caused you stress. And you can say them in any order you want. And it is, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you. And I've seen 2 different forgiveness lines, either I forgive you or forgive me. So let's say I'm thinking about someone and I had conflict with them and I'm all stressed out about it. I would stop, I would imagine that person's face, and I would think to myself, and I actually try to say this out loud, but I only do it when I'm alone. I mean, the dogs don't mind if I speak out loud. My husband, you know, he might ask questions. Or if I'm in a line at the grocery store, no, I'm not going to say this out loud. But you can think it, and it's just, I'm sorry, thank you, I love you, forgive me. or I'm sorry, thank you, I love you, I forgive you. And there's something very, very freeing and calming and relaxing about just doing that forgiveness mantra. So that's really great for pretty much any situation. I would suggest trying that one too. And then a couple more. Laughter, again, has been shown to have all kinds of beneficial effects on your blood pressure, on your cardiovascular health, on your immune system. It boosts the immune system. It relaxes your muscles for up to 45 minutes after you have a good laugh. So anything that can make you laugh. And if you're familiar with Norman Cousins, he was a man who was diagnosed with an illness. I think they gave him like 3 months to live. And he just decided he was going to beat it somehow himself. So he, in the hospital room, he only watched funny movies. And he laughed and laughed and laughed. And now he's an advocate for all kinds of alternative therapies and alternative healing because he's still around decades later. So laughter is fantastic. You know, I will watch videos that I like. I'll watch my dogs play, and that makes me laugh most of the time. Jimmy Fallon, whatever it might be. Actually, I think Higgins is funnier than Fallon. Do you? Yeah, I think actually Higgins is the brains behind the jokes. But anyway, Jimmy Fallon show. So whatever's going to make you laugh, 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 that is fantastic. And studies have shown that it doesn't actually even matter if you're laughing at anything real. If you literally force yourself to laugh, your body and your brain is going to interpret that as true laughter, and things are going to calm down. So you can just be driving in your car. And of course, once you start fake laughing, then you'll start real laughing. And that is just a fabulous muscle release and a fabulous de-stressor. And then the last thing, see, and I'm going to laugh till the end of this video. The last thing that I think is fantastic for stress busting is, of course, social support. And studies, again, have shown that people who have close relationships in their life, be it the more friends you have that are close friends, and the more family members that you can count on, the less stress people have in their lives and the longer they live. So even if it's not your family, if you can build a support system around yourself, and it doesn't have to be in person. I consider now, after being in the blogosphere for 7 years or whatever it is, I consider some of my closest friends people that I know through online interactions. So it doesn't have to be someone that you see in person, but to have a support system around you. And I have to say, part of what I've done, if you've been watching me lately, you know that I just started this membership site called The Sweet Life. And what it is it's a group for people on special diets. And I offer recipes every month, but we also have a live Q&A session with me where people get to ask questions. And we have a private Facebook group where we interact with each other and talk about our challenges on our special diets. People ask questions, they offer advice, and so on. And so part of my, I guess, motivation for creating this, of course, was because so many people have been asking me for this, but it was a little bit selfish, I have to say, on my own part, because that is a fantastic support system for anybody who's eating a special diet. And I know all too well, having been on the anti-candida diet for so many years, that if you have people who are going through the same thing, and people that you can exchange ideas with, and people who just get it, then it's so much easier to go through that, and it's not as stressful. So that, I would say, if you can find a support group, whether it's in person, whether it's online, that's another fantastic way to deal with stress. So those are my top tips for dealing with stress, and I hope they've been helpful to you. Again, just really quickly, meditation, visualization, laughter, support, and Ho'oponopono, which is the forgiveness mantra. Those are all things that I do, and 3 deep breaths. Those are all things that I do really like pretty much on a daily basis. I got a lot of stress. I have to use everything I can get. And then the longer term things like long-term meditation. Obviously, you can look into things like biofeedback, clearly dealing with stressors, but those are things that you can do right away. So those are my tips for today. I hope they were helpful for you. I would love to hear, what do you do? Do you have something that you use at the moment when you're stressed out? Please leave a comment below and let me know. And I can add these in future to future videos when we talk about this kind of thing. So again, it's Rikki Heller from rikkiheller.com. I hope if this video was helpful, you give it thumbs up and come and see me over at my blog, www.rikkiheller.com, or come see us at The Sweet Life and join the support there. Okay, take care, everybody. I'll be back next time with some more.